Hey, good morning. I'm Patricia Murphy. It's Tuesday. This is Seattle Now. The Seahawks haven't reached the Super Bowl in a decade, but this season, the table is set for a championship run. Coming up, we'll talk with Jerry Brewer of The Athletic to find out how the Seahawks soared past expectations. But first, let's get you caught up. The Seattle City Council is back on the dais today after a holiday break, and they're hitting the ground running in the new year. The council will swear in two members, Dion Foster, who replaced former council member Sarah Nelson, and Alexis Mercedes Rink for her first full term. They'll also elect a new council president who will hold on to the job for 2 years. Ferry riders, be ready for potential delays this week. 2 Washington State ferry routes are down to 1 boat. The Walla Walla was pulled from the Seattle to Bremerton route Thursday due to a damaged propeller. And over the weekend, the Tacoma was pulled from the Seattle to Bainbridge Island route until further notice due to an oil tube issue. Washington State Ferries expects the Seattle to Bainbridge route to return to full service sometime next week and says Seattle Bremerton should get back to full service by the end of the month. And the University of Washington Athletic Department is hosting a celebration of life this afternoon for Mia Hammond, a goalkeeper for the women's soccer team who died from kidney cancer in November. The team went on a surprise run in the NCAA women's soccer tournament in the weeks after Hammond's passing, wearing orange cleats for kidney cancer awareness. Hammond's celebration of life starts at 4 p.m. at Alaska Airlines Arena. A live stream will be available on the UW Athletics website. Be sure to check back for more headlines on tonight's episode of Seattle Now.
Third down and 2, Charbonnet. He's got it and plenty more. Touchdown, Seattle.
The Seahawks have found themselves in a prime position to make a Super Bowl run. After beating the 49ers on Saturday, the Hawks were crowned as the top team in the NFC, which means they get to zoom past the first round of the playoffs and host every playoff game at Lumen Field. Essentially, the Super Bowl runs through Seattle. The last time the Seahawks held the number 1 seed was during the 2014 season when the team's vaunted defense, dubbed the Legion of Boom, got them to a second straight Super Bowl. Jerry Brewer is here to help us understand how the Hawks got here and what comes next. He's a senior columnist for The Athletic.
I think one of the things that's interesting to me is that coming off of their Super Bowl glory days when they went to back-to-back Super Bowls, everybody got a little spoiled.
Oh.
And all of a sudden, like 11-5, 12 wins, all that stuff wasn't good enough. And you could feel it in the crowd. Like the home field advantage wasn't the same as what it used to be.
Interesting.
I believe in the second half of this year, it really started to come back. And this city is going to be on fire next week. And so any concerns that people have had about the diminishing home field advantage of Lumen Field, they're going to see what Seattle is really about when they have full faith in their football team.
The Seahawks weren't expected to be this good, Jerry, but this season they won the most games ever in franchise history. What does this say?
It says that their young coach, Mike McDonald, is a star in the industry, and it says that the Seahawks are finally back. They've been good, pretty good. They haven't had significant lows over the last decade, but they haven't been this good in a decade.
Okay. What is the narrative of this season? In a nutshell, how did the Seahawks get here?
The Seahawks, I believe, are the best defensive team in the NFL, and they're different from their Legion of Boom championship days when the Seahawks basically said we run a really simple defense. Pete Carroll has these guys playing like their hair is on fire, and they just go out and attack people. This is a defense that is very cerebral. They're very good at blurring the picture for the quarterback. So when the quarterback drops back to pass, he doesn't know what he's seeing because what he is diagnosed at the line of scrimmage, it's different the way that they play it. And then they're ferocious at the pass rush coming to get the quarterback without a single, I would argue that they don't have a single superstar on that defense. But what they have are about 8 really good players. And everyone who plays in that defense, the starting 11 on through the guys who come in reserve, they all know their roles. They play on a string.
Oh, I was going to ask you how you get that kind of alchemy.
Well, I think part of it is just how brilliant Mike Macdonald is as a defensive mind. The second is the character and the football intelligence on this team is off the charts.
Quarterback Sam Darnold's performance on the field has been uneven, to say the least. Still, the Seahawks are the best team in the conference. Is this team winning despite him?
No, I'm going to give the ginger quarterback a little bit of credit here.
All right.
I think people criticize Darnold too much because of his failings when he was drafted high with the New York Jets. But every quarterback who goes to the New York Jets fails. We have to evaluate him on what he's become, which is just a really nice middle-tier quarterback. He turns the ball over a little too much on occasion, and that's the thing to watch out for. But they are not winning in spite of Sam Darnold. As a matter of fact, I would say that Sam Darnold was the missing piece that took this from a team that could make the playoffs to one that is the number one team in the NFC.
During the offseason, this team underwent some big changes. They traded away some key players, quarterback Geno Smith and wide receiver DK Metcalf. A lot of people thought Seattle may have gotten worse coming into 2025. How did you see it?
Yeah, I wasn't sure what they were going to be. They went 10-7 a year ago, and people were like, oh, yeah, they're automatically going to win 11. They're going to make the playoffs. I said, wait a minute. I didn't know that Darnold was going to be this good. I didn't know that they would be able to have such a dynamic passing game without DK Metcalf, who is just a physical freak and was their number one wide receiver. But you got to give credit to Jackson Smith and Jigba, their record-setting wide receiver. There's been a lot of good wide receivers that the Seahawks have had over the last 12 or 15 years. But he is the one guy that I look at, Jackson Smith and Jigba, and say, maybe one day that torch might need to be passed from Steve Largent to JSN.
Fans are thrilled by Seattle's success this season, but I do get the sense that some of them are still skeptical. Is that skepticism warranted?
Yes, it's warranted because this is a team that has won one playoff game the last decade. I think they've lost 4 of their last 5 playoff games. They've got a tough road. Just because they're number one in the NFC, it's not the same as when they were the best team in the NFL in 2013 and the best team in 2014, where it was like 1, maybe 2 teams were going to get in the way of them getting to the Super Bowl. This is about as balanced of an NFL playoffs as I've ever seen. And on the NFC side, anybody from 1 through 6 could win the entire thing. And so it's going to be a tough road. Their matchup after this bye in the division round, if the favorites hold, would likely be another matchup, a third matchup with the Rams. And the first 2 matchups have been epic games.
Marner in motion. Darnold throws, caught for the 2 points. Eric Sorbert. They throw to a guy who hadn't made a catch or was targeted all night long. What a game.
I think the NFL universe wants this game to happen, and it's probably the scariest division game that you can get, but it is going to be at Lumen Field.
Yeah.
And so I bring it on. Like, this is what you want in the NFL playoffs.
They have a legitimate shot at the Super Bowl here, you think?
They have a legitimate shot now. They're one of the youngest teams in the NFL as well, so this is a run. They're here to stay.
What a time to be a Seattle sports fan, Jerry. It's the first time that the Hawks and the Mariners have won their respective divisions during the same year. How would you characterize this year for Seattle sports?
It's a whole new era.
Oh, that's great.
Because what's different is I think that the Mariners are going to chase the World Series for years to come. I don't think that for the Seahawks, this is some isolated thing. I think they're either going to win or make the Super Bowl this year, or they're going to chase it for years to come. And with those two, with the combination of those two, I don't think we've seen that before. And then when you add in some of the other things that are going on in professional sports in Seattle, it could be a real golden era, particularly if the NBA decides that they want to expand and brings back the Seattle Supersonics. So I think this could be one of those moments that 20 years from now we look back, in the mid-2020s and say, this was a special time in Seattle sports.
Jerry, it is a really fun time to get in on the Seahawks. What's your elevator pitch for why people should get involved now?
If you love strategy, you're going to love this Seattle Seahawks team. Mike McDonald is not just a great motivator, but as a defensive strategist, there's so many things that he does to confuse the opponent, and the responsibilities of the individual players, like how on the mark they have to be, is remarkable. And so if you are looking at this as like the true embodiment of what it means to be a team, and that applies to sports, or that applies to the workforce, or that applies to a family, if you look at the Seahawks from that perspective, I think you will marvel at what they've been able to create. The Legion of Boom era is the best era of football that I think I've ever seen in my professional career, like in terms of teams that I've covered day to day. This team is not that. They're different, but they might be even better.
All right, well, let's hope so. Let's hope so. What else should people know before I let you go, Jerry Brewer?
I think people should know that you should just cherish this time. It comes and goes so quickly. It's interesting to me that the Seahawks are the number one seed at a time when Pete Carroll, their former coach's career, is likely over. He just got fired as the coach of the Raiders, and I'm the biggest Pete Carroll fan on the planet. And what they're doing right now is an extension of what Pete did, which is an extension of what Mike Holmgren did. And so really for the last quarter century, which is half of the life of the Seattle Seahawks, they have been a different franchise than what they were before, and it's great to see the continuation.
Cool. Jerry Brewer, senior columnist for The Athletic. Really appreciate you taking the time.
Oh, anytime.
The Seahawks will play in the division round, which is next weekend, January 17th or 18th. Opponent to be determined. Really appreciate you listening to Seattle Now, and thanks to our generous financial supporters. Today's episode was produced by Andy Hurst. It was edited by Caroline Chamberlain Gomez. Our production team also includes Vaughn Jones, Brooklyn Jamerson Flowers, and Paige Browning. Greg Kramer does our theme music. Seattle Now and KUOW Public Radio are members of the NPR network. I'm Patricia Murphy. See you soon.
I know it was a tough day out there and everything, but we're going to make it this year. We're going to work hard this year, and the blue wave is going to be rolling, baby.
We've got the others on the run, and we won't lay back till we're done. We're aiming for the Super Bowl,
and the blue wave is on a roll.